Welcome back to Only Talk Sports. We talk sports every single day, or at least we try to. I'm Ernst Jeffrey. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content and hit that notification bell so you never miss our video. We talked about the triple header in college basketball on Saturday of top 10 matchups with Houston and Kansas, Kentucky and Tennessee, and North Carolina and Duke. But you can't forget about Sunday in college basketball as well, because we have another top 10 matchup, and this time it's in the Big Ten. This is how great this weekend is in college basketball with all these great games. But you got Purdue traveling to the Wisconsin Badgers on CBS at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. This game has a lot of stakes in the Big Ten because both of these teams are at the top of the conference. Both teams are playing better than any other team in the Big Ten right now. And Purdue, they only have 2 losses this season. They're 20-2, 9-2 in the conference. Wisconsin, they've lost 5 games overall, but they're 8-2 in the Big Ten. So if the Badgers could get this win, they would be able to take the lead in the Big Ten standings by half a game. But if Purdue can win, that would help elevate their chances of being able to win the Big Ten again this season. But when you look at the net rankings, Purdue is number 2 in the net, and Wisconsin is at number 11. And both teams have great records in the quadrants this season, so they're in great shape for the NCAA tournament. And then when you look at the bracket matrix, Purdue is the number 1 overall seed, whereas Wisconsin is the top number 2 seed. So as of now, it looks like both teams are going to get a protected seed come NCAA tournament time. That's always a great thing. Wisconsin, even though they are lower than Purdue right now, a loss here would not hurt the Badgers in any way, shape, or form for the tournament. So I'm going to predict whether I believe Purdue or Wisconsin will win this top 10 matchup on CBS in the Big Ten in college basketball. So let's get into it. The Purdue Boilermakers are barely favored in the ESPN FPI predictor with a 61% chance to win to Wisconsin's 39% chance. And when you look at the recent history in this rivalry, Purdue won at Wisconsin in the last matchup 63-61, and then the year before that they lost at Wisconsin 70-67. So both of those games were very close, and Wisconsin and Purdue have been some of the most consistent teams in the Big Ten the last few seasons, and Purdue is one of the best teams at being able to win on the road. And why is Purdue so good at winning on the road? They get to the foul line at such a high rate, and that helps you win games on the road. If you look at the free throw numbers this year, Purdue goes to the line at the 9th highest rate in college basketball, and you have to search a long way to find the Wisconsin Badgers. They're all the way down here at number 145 with 20 free throw attempts per game, whereas Purdue, they average 25 free throw attempts a game. So that significantly helps Purdue out in tight matchups, and Purdue is fairly solid at knocking down their free throws as well, because when you look at their roster, they shoot as a team at 72% at the line, and they shoot 40% from the three-point line. So they're able to knock down their threes, which is why Purdue is a better team this year than they were the last couple years. And I think that possibly could help Purdue win games in the NCAA tournament this season if they are able to knock down the three-point shot at a consistent rate to complement Zach Edey, because the last few years they have struggled from the three-point line, but they've been dominant inside. But Purdue is a team that is good inside and out, and that should help out their chances significantly. And you look at the fact that Purdue has knocked off Gonzaga, Tennessee, Marquette in the non-conference, and they only have losses at Northwestern and at Nebraska. They also have beaten Illinois and Arizona, so they have a lot of good wins, and they're on a roll. They've won 6 games in a row coming into this game at Wisconsin, and sometimes when you are on such a roll, you can slip up in a game on the road, but Wisconsin is a top 10 team, so you know Purdue's not going to overlook Wisconsin, even if they are not able to win the game. And if you look at the fact that Purdue has so many players that are helping out Zach Edey, Zach Edey's averaging a ridiculous 23 points and 12 rebounds, but then Lance Jones averaging 13 points per game. The Southern Illinois transfer, Braden Smith and Fletcher Loyer, both averaging double digits. They're improved players from last year. Mason Gillis, Trey Kaufman-Renn, and Miles Colvin, they chip in a few points as well. But Zach Edey this season has shot 231 free throws, and that's going to be very tough for Wisconsin to slow down. We'll have to see what kind of approach Wisconsin takes, because you look at Chris Collins, the Northwestern coach, in the last game that Purdue has played, it was against Northwestern. He completely lost his cool because of the fact that Purdue shot 46 free throws and Northwestern only shot 8 free throws. You see him going over to the refs. He was furious. Later on, he did congratulate Matt Painter and Zach Edey. He gave them both a handshake, but still, it is very tough to slow down Purdue when they're shooting around 30 or 40 free throws a game. And in the case of the Northwestern game, they shot 46 free throws, and still Northwestern was in striking distance in that game. game. But Chris Collins, he shouldn't have been too mad because he literally said before the game that they were going to foul Purdue a lot, and they did, to try to slow down Zach Edey. That's how tough it is to slow down Zach Edey. But Wisconsin has a really good team. Greg Gard has done a great job making this team better than they were last year when they couldn't even make the NCAA tournament. Wisconsin's been a consistent program like Purdue, but Wisconsin did have a tough season last year. You see, they started out slow with losses to Tennessee and Providence, but then they beat Marquette, lost to Arizona, but then they've done a great job in Big Ten play, only losing at Penn State, and they lost at Nebraska just like Purdue did. So Nebraska has been the Achilles heel of other teams in the Big Ten when they're at home. They've knocked off the two best teams in the conference on their own floor, so not really any shame when Wisconsin losing that game. Plus, it was in overtime. Sometimes things do not go your way when a game does go to overtime, but since Wisconsin lost that game, you know they're going to go out there and play very hard against Purdue to try to bounce back to possibly take the lead in the Big Ten standings, and they have the team to do it because even though they don't have a guy like Edey who's averaging 23 points per game, A.J. Storr, the St. John's transfer, has been what Lance Jones has been for Purdue transferring in, but even better because A.J. Storr is averaging 17 points per game and 4 rebounds, and he has brought so much athleticism to the Wisconsin team, something that they normally lack. He's shooting 84% at the line, and he shoots a good enough percentage from three to keep defenses honest at 33%. Then you look at guys like Steven Crowd, Tyler Wall, Max Klesmit, and Chucky Hepburn that all contribute at a fairly high level as well, and they're all returners from last year, so they have continuity just like Purdue does with Braid Smith, Fletcher Lawyer, Zach Edey, and Trey Kaufman-Wren. Having guys that are within your program and they come back in another year and they have more experience, they know your system, that helps out coaches like Matt Painter and Greg Gard for sure. Connor Essegian, he struggled this year, but he has been playing a bit better lately. If any team's going to be able to knock off Purdue at this stage in the season with how well Purdue's playing, it's going to be Wisconsin. But who do I think is going to win this game? I've already mentioned how important free throws are going to be because normally in the Kohl Center, which is where this game's going to be at, and it's a tough environment to win at Wisconsin, the Badgers normally shoot more free throws than their opponents on their own floor, but it does not appear like that's going to be the case this season. Purdue is shooting an astronomical amount of free throws this season, and by far the most in the Big Ten. Chris Collins lost his mind last game, so Wisconsin is going to have to find a way to defend Zach Edey without fouling, or Purdue will win this game. They cannot allow Purdue to shoot 35 to 40 free throws in this game while Wisconsin shoots around 15 or 20. I know Wisconsin's going to shoot more than Northwestern's 8 because Northwestern was chunking up a bunch of threes. That's why they were not getting fouled. But Wisconsin has guys that can get to the foul line like A.J. Storr, who has 85 free throw attempts, and Tyler Wall, who has 96. But nobody for Wisconsin is anywhere near the amount that Zach Edey has shot with over 200 free throws. But I think this is going to be a very close game like the series history has been lately. Purdue, the last 2 times they've played at Wisconsin, they lost a close game 2 years ago, and last year they were able to squeak out a close win at an inferior Wisconsin team. This Badger team's much better, and I think the fact that they are coming off a loss to the Nebraska Cornhuskers, that's going to motivate them to play very hard in this game to possibly be able to get a win over the best team in the Big Ten right now. Wisconsin is a close second, but Purdue is playing better basketball than any team in the conference right now. But I do believe at the end of the day, Purdue's going to end up shooting too many free throws in this game, and the Boilermakers have enough guys that can shoot the 3 ball this season. They have an improved 3-point shooting team, and while Wisconsin is a better free throw shooting team than Purdue, with their team shooting 77% at the line, and they shoot 35% from 3, which is not too bad, I do think at the end of the day, Purdue will win 75-72 over the Wisconsin Badgers. I don't think that Greg Gard is going to lose his mind like Chris Collins did and get ejected from the game at the end. You never know, anything's possible, but I do believe Wisconsin will do a better job of not fouling Zach Edey, and he won't go to the line as much, but Purdue still will shoot more free throws than Wisconsin. They're going to knock down their free throws in a tough environment. They're going to hit enough threes. Wisconsin's going to keep it very tight, very close like the last couple years, and if any team can beat Purdue right now, like I said, it's going to be Wisconsin, but the Boilermakers are playing so well, and they have that scheme going with Zach Edey, getting the ball inside, letting him get fouled, and he's knocking down his free throws at a higher rate than he ever has before, and then when he gets triple teamed too much, he can kick it out, and they can knock down enough threes, and I think that will help Purdue go on the road and win their 7th game in a row and their 2nd in a row at Wisconsin with a 75-72 win with this top 10 matchup in the Big Ten. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below about whether you think that Purdue or Wisconsin will be able to win this top 10 Big Ten battle and why. why and what you think about my prediction for this matchup. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Like this video down below. Follow me on Twitter as well. Link is in the description, and I will see you next time.